Yo, what is up, guys? It is Nick, or the Notorious Fantasy, back in here with another fantasy football video. In today's video, we're going through the Week 9 wide receiver start or sit decisions from every game from Thursday until Monday night. Now, before I get in the video, I'd like to give you guys a word from my sponsor, OverlayDFS.com. OverlayDFS.com is the brand new start sit format and my favorite way to play daily fantasy football. Now, they have gotten rid of what it was the single entry GPP. You can only enter one time into these contests. Now you can enter up to 10 times to obviously boost your odds to win. Now, you might be wondering, why is this going to be worth it for me? Because this is a progressive bonus type of deal. And what the progressive bonus means is every single week, when no one hits the 12-0 record, it keeps adding more and more money. And this $22 one, it is, if you go 12-0, you get the beautiful stars to align. You get $6,740. Obviously, if you go up to the higher paid ones, the progressive bonus is over $27,000. If you're in the top 10% of the entries, you get 9 times the buy-in. So that's just amazing right there, and it's pretty easy to do. You got to make 12 picks plus 3 alternate picks, and I'll show you pretty much how you make these picks. Do you think Aaron Rodgers, for example, will do better than Russell Wilson? Aaron Rodgers playing the LA Chargers, Russell Wilson playing the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. All you got to do is select one of those players, and then you do that 11 more times. There are so many matchups on the screen that you can even do any of these as long as you do 12 of them plus the 3 alternate picks, and then like I said, if you hit that beautiful 12-0, you get that amazing progressive bonus. So make sure you guys check out OverlayDFS.com. Link down below in the description is a great time. Come join me. We're going to have some fun this week on Overlay DFS. And we are back. Make sure to check out OverlayDFS.com. Link down below in the description. Now let's get right into this video. Week 9 wide receiver start or sit decisions. First game here, we got the 49ers at the Cardinals. I'm going to be sitting down everyone in this game. I know some people, they try to get cute. They go with Deebo Samuel. They go with Dante Pettis. They go with any of those people. Don't do that. I'm not starting Christian Kirk. I'm not starting Larry Fitzgerald due to the fact that the 49ers defense is so good. They will lock all these guys down. And for the 49ers guys, there's just no one there that is even a wide receiver 1 in real life. I don't even think they have a wide receiver 1 that is well defined, at least from passing the eye test. I don't see anyone putting up a huge game in this game at the wide receiver position. Next matchup here, we got the Houston Texans at the Jacksonville Jaguars. I'm going to be starting up DeAndre Hopkins in this matchup. Obviously, DeAndre Hopkins has been getting back into form and has been playing quite well the last couple of weeks, and up against a Jacksonville defense that is not the Jacksonville defense of the past, where Jalen Ramsey would absolutely lock up DeAndre Hopkins. He is no longer there. He's on the Rams. So I think DeAndre Hopkins would be in for a pretty big game this week. Knock one time if you're with me. Next wideout to talk about here for the Houston Texans is Kenny Golladay. Now, if Will Fuller does not play, I would be slotting Kenny Golladay, or not Kenny Golladay, I should say Kenny Stills, right back into my lineup. Now, I know he shit the bed. He needs those huggies because he destroyed your fantasy lineup last week, but I think this week against the Jacksonville Jaguars, if Will Fuller is out, he could have a bounce back game. Now, for DJ Chark, he's an obvious start yet again. DJ Chark, pretty much every single week this season, has been a dominant wide receiver. Last week, he played pretty well, and with D.D. Westbrook likely being out in this contest, I think that elevates DJ Chark's value, and I also think it elevates the value of another wideout on that team, and that is Chris Conley. Chris Conley, obviously, I think I spelled his name wrong, but that doesn't matter, because Chris Conley has been great this season. When last week we saw when D.D. Westbrook was out, he was putting up big numbers. I think this week against Houston, he does the same thing. And obviously, we're going to sit down D.D. Westbrook, especially if he is hurt, likely not even going to play. Next game here is the Bears at the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, we're going to be starting up Allen Robinson in this matchup. Now, the Bears have not looked all that great on offense. Obviously, they were looking to run the ball last week. And this week against the Eagles, I think they're not going to be able to do that. The Eagles' run defense has looked pretty good, so I think they're going to rely more on the passing game. Obviously, Mitchell Trubisky has looked like shit, but I think that Allen Robinson will be able to get it done regardless of the quarterback play. Allen Robinson has looked pretty good the last couple of weeks, even with shitty Mitch Trubisky. I also like Alshon Jeffrey in this game. Obviously, Alshon Jeffrey will be okay in this game. Obviously, the Bears defense has looked okay. They looked really great last year, and at the beginning of the season, they looked like they could be world beaters, but this season so far, they haven't looked that great. So I think Alshon Jeffrey will still be able to perform, especially if Deshaun Jackson actually plays in the game. I think it will provide a nice decoy for Alshon Jeffrey, someone to take to just fucking let the defense be like, oh shit, the ball's not going to go to Alshon Jeffrey this time. Because Alshon Jeffrey is like the whole fucking offense. Zach Ertz looks like shit. It looks like the Dallas Goedert show over there. So it's really just Alshon Jeffrey there. I think he'll be in for a good game. Obviously, if or if he doesn't play, I'm still going to sit Deshaun Jackson in this game. Next game here, we got the Vikings at the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, I'm going to be starting up Adam Thielen in this matchup for the Vikings. Obviously, Adam Thielen has been that cushion for Kirk Cousins. Now, obviously, last week he was out of the Thursday night matchup against the Redskins due to that injury. Obviously, this week it looks like he's going to return. So I would be starting him up against a terrible Kansas City defense. Stephon Diggs, on the other hand, absolutely went balls to the wall against the Redskins. He gave them a good old skull fucking, and Stephon Diggs is in for a huge game where he gets to skull fuck the Chiefs. Back-to-back skull fuckings from the hands of Stephon Diggs. I think Stephon Diggs will be in for a good matchup this week against the Chiefs. No reason not to think that because the Chiefs defense has looked atrocious. My final start for this game is the Chiefs wide receiver Tyreek the Freak Hill. Obviously, with or without Pat Mahomes, Tyreek Hill has looked phenomenal. Tyreek Hill is obviously that guy that can get open down the field, and regardless if it's Pat Mahomes or Matt Moore, they're still going to be able to hit him deep down the field. I'm going to be seeing both Sammy Watkins, Demarcus Robinson, Cole Hardman all up in this game. Sammy Watkins, even if he plays, useless. Just want to start Tyreek Hill when Pat Mahomes is out. Demarcus Robinson, McCall Hardman, you're fucking flipping a coin with all these guys who will have the bigger game, so you might as well just sit all of them and not play that roulette type of game there. Next game here is the Colts at the Pittsburgh Steelers. I'm going to be starting up T.Y. Hilton in this game. Now, obviously, with the emergence of T.Y. Hilton coming back, Jacoby Brissett has been looking to throw the ball a lot more against the Steelers. I think they're going to be throwing the ball a decent amount, and I think that T.Y. Hilton will be in for a pretty big matchup here this week. Obviously, Miami still played, their receivers still put up solid games against the Steelers due to the fact, even though the fact is that the Miami Dolphins offense is terrible, they still put up good numbers. The Steelers defense is not all that great. Do not sip the Kool-Aid on the fact that Minkah Fitzpatrick got a pick in the game yesterday, or on Monday, I should say. I still think T.Y. Hilton is in for a pretty big game. Juju Smith-Schuster, on the other hand, he's got the next to him. Because you know what? Juju had one fucking good game this season. It was against the Miami Dolphins. You want to know whose defense is better than the Miami Dolphins? 31 other fucking teams. But with that being said, the Colts defense is way better than the Miami Dolphins. So I don't think Juju has that good of a performance this week, especially with how bad Mason Rudolph looked last week. Deontay Johnson, on the other hand, it seems like Mason Rudolph just loves throwing it to Deontay Johnson. He's also got the because the Colts defense is better than the Dolphins, but I still think he may be able to put up a okay game. Already seeing down Mr. Zach Pascal. A lot of guys were trying to ride Zach Pascal. They're riding his Johnson, trying to get him to do something. He really is not going to perform like we saw 2 weeks ago every single week, so obviously you're just going to let him ride the pine. James Washington has no fucking hands, but he's obviously a guy some people might think to start. Sit him and leave him on your bench. Next game here is the Jets at the Miami Dolphins. Quite the exciting matchup here between two god-awful teams. Kids see Ghost Sam Darnold versus Ryan Fitzpatrick. Now, before I get into this matchup, make sure you guys do click that subscribe button down below if you have enjoyed thus far. I'm going to be starting up all of the notable wide receivers in this matchup. Robbie Anderson, Robbie A, and Jamison Crowder of the New York Football Jets are obviously starts for me in this matchup. The Dolphins defense looked atrocious, like I said last week. Juju, Deontay Johnson, both 8. Why can Robbie Anderson, Jamison Crowder not eat? I think that Mr. Sam Darnold is not going to be seeing ghosts in this game and have a phenomenal game against the Miami Dolphins. Now, for the Dolphins, I still think with Ryan Fitzpatrick, 2 of these guys can still put up numbers. We saw last week, Preston Williams play pretty good, and we saw Devontae Parker play pretty good, so I don't see why they wouldn't be able to do it against the Jets this week. Next game here, we got the Redskins at the Buffalo Bills. I'm going to be starting up Scary Terry, but he has the next to him because you want to know why? Who the fuck is the quarterback of the Redskins? Is it Case Keenum? Is it fucking Dwayne Trash Can Haskins? Is it Colt McCoy? Like, why the fuck is Colt McCoy still in the fucking league? Like, who is going to be the starting quarterback of that team? If it's Case Keenum, fire up Scary Terry. He'll be great. If it's Trash Can Haskins, I don't want anything to do with fucking Scary Terry. So he's got the air because he might be okay if Haskins could eventually figure out how to throw the ball to him. Because Haskins threw the ball to him and he was wide open. He threw it like 9 fucking yards above him. He's an idiot. But for the Bills, John Brown is obviously a good start. The Redskins defense is terrible. We see John Brown explode against good offense or good defenses. Against a bad defense, we will see him perform excellence Excellency right there. And Cole Beasley also is a guy that I like to target against the Redskins. Cole Beasley is a guy that you've been able to start pretty much every single week, putting up about 10 PPR points every single game. In this matchup against the Redskins, he should be able to do phenomenal. Next game here, we got the Titans at the Carolina Panthers. I'm going to be starting up two wideouts in this game, and that is obviously DJ Moore and Curtis Samuels, the two wideouts for the Panthers. Now, if Cam Newton is 100% playing in this game, I would temper my expectations for both these guys, because Cam Newton looked fucking awful before they took him out, and he might look awful when they put him back in, but obviously, you're still going to be starting them here. DJ Moore should be in for a bounce-back game after last week being stuck against the 49ers. Curtis Samuel, obviously, both those guys you couldn't have started in that game, but in this game against the Titans, I believe that DJ Moore and Curtis Samuel can perform. I'm obviously going to be seeing down Corey Davis. I told you guys last week, sit Corey Davis. Corey Davis is fucking awful. He's an awful player, and if you started him, you're probably fucking pissed off because he played like shit. AJ Brown is just going to be okay, so just sit him anyways. There's no reason to waste a starting lineup spot on someone that's just okay. Next game here is the Lions at the Raiders. I'm going to be starting up Kenny Golladay in this matchup. Kenny Golladay went balls deep in the Giants defense last week. I think this week he could do the same thing to the Raiders. Marvin Jones, on the other hand, last week shit the bed. Did nothing. But you want to know what always tends to happen? It's Kenny Golladay one game, and then it's Marvin Jones the other game. And in this game, by the law of whatever that is, the law of attraction, the law of skull fuckitude, Marvin Jones is going to be in for a big game this week. Probably 70 fucking points from him, because we saw the other week he scored like 4 touchdowns, so why can't he do it again? Tyrell Williams, obviously, for the Raiders is a huge touchdown machine. He scores a touchdown pretty much every single game. Derek Carr loves throwing the ball to Mr. T. Will's way, and T. Will is going to give the Willie to the Lions, and he is going to have a pretty big game this week. Knock one time if you're with me. Next game here, we got the Buccaneers at the Seattle Seahawks. I'm going to be starting up Mike Evans in this affair. Now, I love Mike Evans in this game because he has been playing quite well the last couple of weeks. The Seattle defense is pretty good, but obviously James is going to throw some picks, but Mike Evans and Chris Godwin both going to eat in this game, but I like Chris Godwin even more. Chris Godwin is going to be even better because Mike Evans had that game. He's just like with Detroit. Mike Evans had the good game. This week, it's the Chris Godwin game where he scores like 9 million points and the Buccaneers still lose. But it doesn't matter because Chris Godwin is going to be in for a big game this week against Seattle. Obviously, on Seattle, Tyler Lockett, DK Metcalf pretty much every single week starts. Tyler Lockett is a guy that is a top 10 wide receiver pretty much every single week. DK Metcalf is a guy that's obviously a flex option, but still a guy that you can obviously put in that lineup, especially against a terrible Buccaneers defense. I'm going to be sitting down Jerron Brown in this game. Obviously, you're trying to get a bit lucky if you're starting Jerron Brown. Obviously, he's been playing pretty okay in fantasy football, but this week, I would just sit him down and go for the likes of a guy like DK Metcalf or Tyler Lockett. And if you're trying to gamble, go for a different wideout this week. Next game here, we got the Packers at the LA Superchargers. I'm going to be starting up Keenan Allen in this game, but he is the with fucking 7 H's because the Packers defense has looked good and Keenan Allen has not looked all that good the last couple of weeks. Phillip Rivers has been struggling mainly from probably carrying 17 kids to bed every single night. I don't know what the fuck is going on in LA or San Diego, wherever that shitty team plays. Keenan Allen is not going to be in for that big of a game. Davante Adams, this may be the week that the man arises and comes back from that turf toe injury, and he's going to have a turf dick injury from slamming it straight through the ground and straight through the end zone. He is going to score multiple touchdowns in this matchup, given he gets the green light to play. I'm sitting down Mike Williams, MVS, Geronimo Allison, Allen Lazard. Obviously, if Davante Adams is back, MVS, Geronimo Allison, Allen Lazard, all fucking useless. Mike Williams has been playing okay, score like 9-10 points every single game, but against a tough Packers defense, I would worry about it, so I would put him in the sit column for this week. Next game here, we have an amazing matchup between the Browns and the Broncos. Just fucking kidding. Who the fuck cares? I'm going to be starting OBJ in this game, but he's got the because you know what? OBJ's been all fucking year. He had one good game to boost his number against the shitty Jets, and now he's just a guy that's okay every single week. So he gets the but you're obviously going to start him against a Broncos defense that has not looked that great all this year. Jarvis Landry doesn't have the next to him, but he's pretty much an as well because this Browns offense is so fucking boring. It's pretty much just a Nick Chubb show. Cortland Sutton, on the other hand, for the Broncos is definitely worthy of a start, but it depends who the quarterback is. Flacco likely out for the year for mouthing off on the coaching. I don't think he's actually hurt. I think they just fucking screwed him over. Cortland Sutton If it's Drew Lock, should be good to go, should be fine. But I would obviously temper my expectations due to the fact that it's not a great quarterback like Mr. Elite Joe Flacco. I'm obviously going to sit down Deshaun Hamilton in this game. Deshaun Hamilton did not perform last week when he was the wide receiver 2 on the team. And this week against the Browns, against a tougher type of defense, I don't think that he will be able to perform, especially with a younger quarterback starting in the game, not Mr. Joe Cool Flacco. Next game here, I believe this is the final game. Psych with that. It was not the final game. That is the Patriots at the Ravens, the Sunday night matchup here. Now, this is going to be a doozy for the wide receiver position. I'm obviously going to be starting up Julian Edelman. Jules Edelman has been great every single game pretty much all year. Obviously, he's had games where they've been duds, but pretty much every single game, he's the guy on the Patriots you want to slot into your lineup. He is a perfect PPR wide receiver, getting a bunch of looks every single game. I think Julian Edelman should be in for a good matchup this week against the Ravens, where I think the Patriots just somehow steamroll the Ravens, even though the Ravens have looked good. I'm just seeing down Mohamed Sanu in this game. Obviously, I don't want to start any of these other Patriots wide receivers. Philip Dorsett, who knows who will be the one scoring the touchdown besides Julian Edelman and Sony Michel and James White. And then I'm sitting down Hollywood Brown. Obviously, no matter how healthy he is, Stephon Gilmore is going to put the fucking clamps on his ass, so there's no reason to even start him if he even gets the good to go for the Ravens this week. Final game here is the Cowboys at the Giants. I'm going to be starting up Amari Cooper in this matchup. Obviously, Amari Cooper has looked good the last couple of weeks, so he would be a start for me, especially against a bad Giants defense. Michael Gallup also, given they are both 100% healthy, I like them this week against the Giants. I'm going to be starting Golden Tate in this game. If Sterling Shepard is out, I love Golden Tate this week. I think Golden Tate would be in for an enormous big game this week. Now, Sterling Shepard, if he's alive, I would give him the go and put him in my fantasy lineup, given he's like 100%. If he's like 60%, go ahead and fucking let him ride the pine. But Sterling Shepard will be great once he is returning. And I think that may even boost Golden Tate's value because Golden Tate won't be the only fucking pass catcher out there on the field. Darius Slayton, on the other hand, if Sterling Shepard is dead and not alive, I would be starting Darius Slayton in this matchup. I think Darius Slayton is clearly a down-the-field threat that Mr. Danny Dimes loves throwing the ball to. Danny Dimes threw 2 touchdowns to him last week. Obviously, I don't see 2 touchdowns in the forecast for this Monday Night Football matchup, but I do think Darius Slayton, if Sterling Shepard is out, is definitely worthy of a start. So thank you guys all for watching this video. If at any point you ended up enjoying, if at any point you ended up chuckling, make sure to click that subscribe button down below. I'll see you guys later with some more videos. I love you all. Good boy.